We are live again, I think. Hello everyone. I'm sorry about that. My 3090 crashed my power supply. Is anyone... Hey, we've got one person in. There are going to be more. Sorry about that. I need to find out how I... Hang on a second. Hey, we're back. There we go. Yeah, no, the people, I think there's still 37 people watching the old stream. It's so annoying you can't just like pause the stream and go back to it. I did pay for the 3090 and it was painful. So what happened is, so Nvidia recommend that you need a 650 watt power supply to run the new graphics card, which is not true. You need more. So every so often it will crash, which is a pain, especially for these live streams. But yeah, we are back. Now I've got to boot up Flight Simulator, which is going to take a while. So yeah, I guess we can talk about the joystick. Yeah, no, sorry. When I say 650 watts, what they recommend, that's not how much the graphics card uses. They say it only uses 350 watts, but they recommend a power supply of 650 watts. I've got a 750 watt, and my friend has an 850 watt, and both of ours crash when using demanding games. I thought I lost my rudder pedal, but I just couldn't reach it. Yeah, no, one of my friends has ordered a 1000 watt power supply, and he's going to be testing it. I'm not going to get one just yet, but I will do at some point. And for some reason, Flight Simulator is not launching. I have the RTX 3090 graphics card. It's in the description. The latest driver, I haven't installed it just yet. I believe it got released today, didn't it? I think it got released today, and I didn't want to install it because I haven't. That's the first crash I've had on Flight Simulator. Why can I not boot up Flight Simulator? That's the first crash I've had on Flight Simulator. So I didn't want to install a driver, seeing as it was working. Why is this not booting up? Just springs on the rudder pedals currently. I was going to put some steering damper things from a motorbike, but it increases the cost quite a lot, and to be honest, I never really use the rudder pedals apart from on the ground, which is not really good for a pilot, but that tends to be just what happens. Doesn't look like Flight Simulator's booting up. There's nothing showing up on my screen. Come on, Flight Simulator, you can do this. For some reason Steam doesn't open, and that's where I boot it from. Yeah, the aluminium extrusions are really cool. I've only just started using them. And I use them for both my Flight Simulator joystick and also for my flywheel trebuchet. So yeah, no, I love them. They're quite expensive for the lengths, but in terms of flexibility wise, They're just amazing. Just plug in it. Right, Flight Simulator is now booting up slowly. Yeah, no, I heard about the drivers fixing the issues, but I haven't had Flight Simulator crash yet, so I didn't want to make anything worse. But that was the first crash, so I'll definitely install it after this. Next project. I'm not entirely sure what the next project is. Probably this. The next video. Not sure yet. The DIY joystick is, well, I haven't broken anything yet, but it's got some pretty heavy duty bearings in it. I think Flight Simulator is booting up. The hinges at the bottom, which you can see on the far left, bottom left, those are the heads of shoulder bolts, which are 10mm in diameter. So it's basically a 10mm axle per axis, which is, I don't know if you guys can probably hear that. That's a Sobo Studios. Shh. Flight Simulator, be quiet. Yeah, no, it's 10mm axle per hinge, so it's pretty strong. It's the only thing that might break is the 3D print parts, but you just 3D print a new one, I guess, if it breaks. I think the only reason why it could break is if someone were to, you were to give it to someone that hasn't flown Flight Simulator and they just like jam the stick to the side. You might be able to snap the plastic parts because of the leverage of it. I don't have a video about building this just yet, but I will be. Let me see if I can bring up. I made like a short spoiler video. This might work. Oh, let me turn the audio off. Right, if I do this. Why can't I move? Oh, there we go. So these are the bearings and the shoulder bolts, which have the shaft section on them. So see, they have that like machine shaft there. So there's like no play. And then this is the roll axis. This is the pitch axis. And then it has like a limit built into it so that it stops when it hits this notch, or when that bit hits there. And also this bottom bit, when it touches the extrusion, it stops. So the sensors I'm using, yeah, we're still going to fly in Venice. I'll spawn in a second. The sensors I'm using are Hall effect sensors, which should show up in a second. There we go. So these are magnetic sensors, and the reason why I don't use a potentiometer like this is because you have to rotate them a long way, like nearly 360 degrees to get a good, resolution. Whereas with these things, if you rotate a magnet near them, like there's a square magnet there, so the north or south pole is on either side. And when you tilt it like that, it gives like really high resolution. So you see I'm barely tilting it, but it's giving like really big movements. And then this is me just initially testing it. then some springs on it to make it self-center. And then this is a joystick with it's got a little button for the brake. Oh, you can't even see that. Hang on. There we go. Wait, I can't do that. Hang on. So yeah, then there's a red button on the top. Yeah, it's an Arduino Pro Micro, I believe. The 32U4 board. Right, so, and then, oh, that's probably way too big. This is just this is like the throttle and switch thing. So there's all these switches and a push button. And then, actually no, so I'm not using the Pro Micro. I'm using the regular Micro. But the Pro Micro does the same thing. This just has more inputs and outputs. So I lied. I had the wrong thing, I forgot. And then these are the rudder pedals. As you can see, they're not finished in this spoiler video. But let's get back to the flight simulator. There we go. Yeah, no, just once I adjust the settings. Yeah, so you can see the rudder pedals up there on the top right. We've got another fly coming in here. Let me just adjust my screen resolution so that apply and save, go back. Does it zero out okay? Yeah, it self-centers pretty well. Just do the Microsoft calibration thing. It works pretty good. I haven't noticed any major issues with it. Where actually is Venice itself? Is it? Hang on, I've got to make this slightly more daylight. Am I on multiplayer? Live traffic, yep. Let's fly from it. This stream is so underrated, only 32 watching. Yeah, get everyone else to join. I should probably post something on my main channel. I'm sure a lot of people miss out, but I feel like if I did it on my main channel, there'd just be so many people posting in the chat that I couldn't read any of them. Right. We are finally back. If the stream dies again, I think I'll probably end it there. So let's hope that it holds out. But if it does, then you know what's happened this time. If the stream dies, then my 3090 has got too greedy. Oh, thanks, Kevin. I'm sorry that you have to watch from work in private, but glad that you joined. Oh, Leo FPV's here. The worst drone pilot in the world. Ooh! You can come and annoy me in game if you want, Nicholas. If you follow I think I put the multiplayer instructions in the description. The frame rates are not great because I'm CPU limited. It seems to be that the CPU runs at twice the limit percentage of the GPU. I think oh, I haven't got my head tracking turned on. When we were flying earlier, it was like 40% GPU usage and 90% CPU usage, so a lot more. And for some reason my head tracking is not working. Interesting. Why is that not working? I guess I'm gonna have to fly with no head tracking. That's not really that much of a problem. So we're getting 42 FPS. Actually, that's really good. 42 FPS. Oh, someone's in the extra 330. I'm in the cub. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take my head tracker off from now on. Because we don't need a head tracker. Oh, this sunlight's nice. I tell you what. I wonder whether the flight sim crashed because I put the extra resolution on just for that map testing. Yeah, this is what it should be like. The classic cub flying. Whee! You know this stream's all about the cub flying. Hey, everyone's in the cub. See, as soon as I get in this yellow cub, everyone joins. It's always the best stream with the cubs. Someone trying to race a Citroen C1 for less than a decent driving rig. Really? That'd be quite funny. So trying to build an actual Citroen racing car for less than a... When you say driving rig, I assume you mean sim driving rig, right? That's pretty crazy. Leo is the most professional, epic, skilled, qualified FPV drone pilot gone pro sponsored PPG pilot. Okay, Leo, whatever you say. But can you do this? Whee! This lighting looks so nice. Hey, everyone's joining in. That's cool. It's weird, I don't normally fly with my head tracking turned off. I don't know why it's not working. It's a bit frustrating. How do I think because... Oh, I don't know. Yeah, only 33 people watching. What's going on? Streams have gone downhill. We used to get in the 70s. Doesn't really matter how many people are watching. It's more fun when there's more people in the sim like this. Let me get up behind the other cub. Yeah, you know that I'm following you. Yeah, I'll check out their videos for sure. What was the channel you said? Bad Obsession Motorsport. Yeah, no, I'll check them out after this. It's so nice, this lighting. I assume everyone else that's flying in the sim have the custom time zone set on. Because otherwise it would be pitch black, wouldn't it? Setting this sunset though is... Oh, that's nice. So where actually is Venice? The town, the city? I thought it was around here. I don't know. I should probably put it on Google Maps. Please acknowledge ATC. Air traffic control. Doesn't seem like there's very much around here. More like big maps. Do a barrel roll. Right, so barrel rolls you need to pick up some speed. And you need to go like this. Let's do some landings. See if we can get on this building. Oh yeah, sorry whoever's in the... Is that an extra? Extra 330? It's a bit slow, this plane. Oh, I just love doing landings in this plane. Oh. Stop, 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 stop. Test out my rudder pedals. Oh, no, we're sinking into the building. Take off, take off, take off. No, no, wrong switch. What's going on? Oh, there we go. I have a switch set up for reverse thrust for like some of the turboprop planes, but on this plane it just cuts the throttle. I think these powerline pylons are new, because they seem to be everywhere at the moment, but I haven't seen them in the previous updates or previous versions. Yeah, it's not easy to fly slow in the 330. You might want to pick another plane and rejoin. Where are the other cubs? Are you behind me? There's one over there. The game crashed. Oh no. My PC crashed earlier. Well, you were here when it crashed. Oh, I really want my head tracking for this kind of flying. This is fun. Flaps up here. I think the X-Cub is slightly faster. Yeah, pylon racing. Well, you've got your flaps down, whoever that is in the X-Cub. Oh, there goes the extra. Oh, 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 too fast, too fast, too fast. There you are. Oh, you've got an 18GB update. Yeah, and the flight sim updates take forever because they like download a bit and then they load a bit and then they download a bit and then they take forever. Oh, loads of the chat and then I've lost the other guy. Where did he go? Oh, you're below me. Oh, you landed on the roof. Hear the power go back on. It's so much fun having someone to follow. Yeah, sorry I'm not answering all the questions right now. I'm concentrating. Oh, through the building gaps. I think that cub just died. Did anyone see that? Should try and land on this building up here. On the tall building. I feel like I'm going a bit fast. Try and side slut. Oh. No. Yes. No, yes. How did that work? Can I go off the end? Go off the end? Yeah, I'm off the end. Stalled. Oh. That would have ended up. That would have worked quite well. I haven't tried War Thunder. I was going to download it the other day, but I didn't get around to it. How do you salute? You press Y, and then if you press F4, it lifts you up. Yeah, no, if you... I was going to get War Thunder, but I didn't get around to it in the end. Running low on space on my SSD. Is that a cub up there? Anyone behind? Yeah, there's a... Is that the extra coming up behind? I'm at full throttle! Where's everyone else at? Is this Venice? Can anyone correct me? I don't know where we are. There's some big... Oh, no, didn't mean to do that. There's some big roofs to land on down here we could try. Alright, flaps down. Come on, where? Oh, I thought I was going to hit a stall. There we go. I want that stall warning. You can't find me. What airport did we take off at? Oh. If you... Oh, what airport? I don't want to open up my map again because I have to change the resolution and then it might crash again. But we're in Venice, basically. There's like a bay where Venice is. If you go into your options and then go on general and then traffic and then name tags or something like that, it might show up like where it might show big name tags like roughly where we are, which will help you fly over here. Hello Nikki, good to have you in the stream. I feel like there's a few more people from America joining now. It's getting a bit later in the day. Maybe finishing work. It looks so nice in this lighting. You going for a landing? Oh no! Oh, you land on sinking into the building. Oh, yeah, I've sunk as well. Is War Thunder good for VR dogfighting? Tempted to try it if it's good for VR flying. Because I use VTOL VR, that's really good fun. I want some more VR flight sims. Oh, it's really good. Huh, interesting. I might need to try that then. I was going to get, is it DCS World or something like that? DCS? I was going to get that, but at the time my graphics card wouldn't have handled it. So I think I need to get that as well. That looks like fun. Oh, War Thunder's better. Interesting. Okay, no, I'll definitely need to download that then. Yeah, I mean, with it being free, might as well download it. Can always delete it. I've been doing quite a lot of VR racing, like car racing, Project Cars 2. That's good fun. But the problem is you also need a full, like, you know, driving setup. But that never really gets old, like racing around some of the British circuits, doing Silverstone, Donington, Brands Hatch. The extra probably at stall speed. I assume that's you, Adam, in the cub, seeing as you're asking about the slew mode earlier. But I can never tell when you're going to land or not because your flaps are like always down. Oh, there's a cub just appeared from the building as well, a yellow cub. Who's this in the yellow cub? We're not dogfighting. Stop going in circles. Just keep falling up. I haven't looked at Star Wars. I'm sure some people will probably leave if I say this, but I've never really been interested in Star Wars. So I think it's time to say this just in case, but if the stream ends abruptly, then it's my 3090 crashing my graphics card. No, my power supply. I think I should just mention that every like 10 minutes just in case it happens and everyone wonders why the stream ends. But that's why. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to crash. Oh, that's pretty cool. So is it VR, the Star Wars? So I didn't read. Did I miss something? Oh, my next project. I'm not entirely sure yet. Probably this joystick. I'll probably make a video on this joystick at some point in the near future because it's already finished. I just have to make the video on it. But next, like, serious project, I'm not sure. I definitely want to stick a motor on my trebuchet and send a few baseballs to space. 8 in the morning. Wow, where are you 8 in the morning? I assume somewhere in Asia, right? Wait, 8 in the morning, that's... How far ahead of that is now? That's a long... Oh, New Zealand. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh. 3 PM in New York. Yeah, 10. It's currently 12 past 8 here. Worthing. I don't know where that is. I've heard of it, but I can't place where it is on a map. So I'm sorry. 12 AM in Pakistan. Sounds like a... Well, yeah, a lot of people say it's like the cat crying. Look, I'd do it. It's a stall warning. Ready? No, it didn't quite happen. There we go. I can't get it on the stall. There we go. I'm not in the north. I'm quite near Heathrow, actually. Planes out of the cub. Yeah, I would say Heathrow is my local airport. I got the 3090 through a weird glitch on Nvidia's website. There was a link that my friend managed to get, which managed to bypass the out of stock button. So we managed to place an order. There were 3 of us placed an order for 3090s, even though they were out of stock on the webpage. And they turned up 5 days later, so they weren't really out of stock. There was just a glitch on the website, so we got pretty lucky. Even though I wanted a 3080 because I couldn't justify the price of a 3090, but I also couldn't turn down a deal like that. Where like some of the other 3090 cards were going for like what, like £1,700, 1,800, something stupid like that. I did make a pre-order for the 3080 and it was like £800, so it makes the 1,400 of the 3090 a bit more justifiable. I love the way the extra 330 just like pops in every so often and then disappears in a minute. Oh, actually you're going pretty slow right now. You're matching our speed. If I had my head tracking I'd look to the side, but it's not working for some reason. Am I reading the comments? I'm reading the comments here. Yeah, YouTube is my full-time job. So have I missed a few things? I don't use Twitch because, quite honestly, I think it's a terrible website. I went on there a few times, like I've never used it before, and then I went on there to watch some of the guys doing their flight simulator streams before before Flight Simulator was released, and I just think it's a terrible website, so I just used this instead. Do you reckon we can land on this this small building here? Well, short building. That's how you land, right? What is my plane doing? What's going on? Some people think that YouTube is a complete waste of time for people under the age of 13. So people younger than 13. I don't really know. I don't really know exactly what you mean by that. I'm landing without even... Oh no. No, I'm looking. Yeah, I am back in the UK. I live in the UK currently. I just occasionally appear in William Osman's videos. His latest vlogs were filmed last year in December. But he only just got bothered to release them recently. Yeah. Yeah, my CPU and GPU combination are not recommended. I know. I only had a 1060 up until Tuesday this week. So 3-4 days ago. So my CPU is definitely the bottleneck now. Oh, there goes a cub. We'll film like 10 vids. Yeah. It's quite funny with William's vlogs, the latest ones. There's a load of comments saying like, I can't believe you went to Walmart without masks on and everything. It's like that was filmed before coronavirus was even part of our vocabulary. But because he only edited them recently, it looks like we're all being irresponsible adults or children, depending on how you want to classify it. Hang on, sorry. I'll read your comments in a second. I'm just following. I'm following Adam. I assume it's still Adam. Flying down the river. Flying down the river. Waving your wings. Oh. Okay. I'm not following anymore. When was my first video? My first YouTube video? On my current channel, I don't know. Maybe like 2011? I think that's when my channel was created. Long time ago. yeah, I've been making videos since 2008 on other channels. Been following COVID since January. Yeah, the videos were filmed in November, December last year, so it was way before like anything really came out. I did get the 3090 partially for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but also just it was available and it's like future proofing, you know, for the next few years hopefully. I'm not gonna do an American accent. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Lawsterant? Probably didn't pronounce that right, but no, thanks for the comment. I'm glad you enjoy the projects. It's quite funny because all the projects that I do are stuff that I remember being in like maths class at school and just thinking like, oh, when I get home I should try and build this, I should try and build that. So it's stuff that like I want to do in my spare time anyway. So it's amazing that I can share it and then other people like it. It's the dream really, that like, you know, making stuff that I would do anyway and people like to watch it. Flywheels, they are yeah, I don't really know why it's called a flywheel. There must be a reason. But flywheel is basically just, yeah, something heavy that rotates, has a lot of rotational energy, inertia. About batteries and drones, possibly scientific research. I don't really have much time. I do get quite a few people asking about research into drones and batteries and stuff. But I don't really have the time to like focus on other research at the moment. Any other languages I know? So I know, I can understand Norwegian because I am half Norwegian. My mum's Norwegian, but I can't speak it. So don't ask me to speak it because I can't. But if someone was speaking it, I could like get a rough gauge of what they're talking about. I need to adjust the time on this. The sun's about to set. To restart so quick, if you press the Y key, it goes into what's called slew mode, and then you press F4. If I just crash, and you press letter Y, and then you can just press Y again and you set level, or you can press Y and then F4 raises you up. It's quite useful. Which project is my favourite? In terms of what projects are my favourite, probably the Swash plateless helicopter is definitely one of my favourites. I'd probably say of my top three: the Swash plateless helicopter, my electric bike, and probably my latest trebuchet. Probably, I think. Is becoming a YouTuber worth it? It depends. It is amazing if like what you do, if what you do in your spare time is what you do in your videos, then it makes everything very easy because it's, you know, it's just what I want to do anyway. But I feel like if you just want to do it to become a YouTuber, it's not a good idea. Because it's like with anything, it's like with starting any business. It's hard work, you know. There's like a load of stuff to do. It's not just you make what you want and then, you know, you're a YouTuber. But it's not with anything. Like, I'm sure people start businesses and absolutely love doing what they're doing. But again, you have to find that niche of that business type of thing, if that makes sense. What educational channel gives you the most inspiration? I don't know. I watch all the science stuff. You know, like Smart Every Day, Peter Schreepel, yeah, Now Red, all of them. What do you do with your old projects? I keep most of them. I take the electronics out of some of them. If I'm like in a rush and the only thing I can buy is from China and I have to wait a few weeks, I'll disassemble an old project to nick the motors and stuff out of. But most of them, I don't know if you can see, like my channel wing plane is still there in the background. I think my helicopter's somewhere. I've got my dragster down there. My my supercapacitor dragster. I keep most of the stuff. What setup do I recommend for making an electric bike? I would say hub motor and a VESC, a VESC. The cheap speed controllers you get like from China for the hub motors, they're very noisy. In terms of they make a whine. I mean, I know my motor makes a whine, but that's because it's a much smaller motor. Like the resonant frequency is quite well, it's within the human hearing frequency. But yeah, hub motors and the VESC are just like dead silent and so smooth. I don't have a video of my sim setup just yet, but I can put a picture on the screen. This is a joystick and rudder pedals. You can see the hinges and wrong way, that way. I do model everything, yeah. There's a lot of CAD work that goes into a project. Yeah. It's funny because I end up like spending so long doing the CAD work that I just feel sick of it, and then I never want to touch the CAD software again. And then that's when the building of it happens, and then the testing, and then the editing. And by the time it gets round, 3 weeks later when I've done all the other stuff, I then want to do CAD again. So it's like a loop of like CAD, build, test, edit. CAD, build, test, edit. That's basically how the life of a YouTuber, life of a YouTube maker. I'm too fast. Oh, am I flying too... Sorry. Oh yeah, it's way too dark right now. I'm going to cruise for a bit, let everyone catch up. It feels like might be getting near to the end of the daylight here. What is the time? Oh, it's 8:30 here. I use Fusion 360 CAD software. Race sim for your graduation project last year. Yeah, I don't know whether you can post links on the live chat. I've never seen it. Yeah, no, post a link if you can. Oh, thanks, Eurocraft. I'm glad you like the flywheel trebuchet. Yeah, it was a good fun project. I feel like we're going to run out of sunlight here, guys. Oh, and there goes an airliner. So the A320. it looks quite nice actually with the lights. On the stream it looks a lot better for some reason. Oh no wait, no, it does look good here. The ground has suddenly got a lot brighter. Oh, my sim has no, there we go. My sim froze for a second. That looks really nice. Alright, let me get behind this. Oh. The atmospheric like hue from the sun. Oh, simulator's freezing. Yeah, the atmospheric like haze and everything, and also the sun over there looks so nice. Cruising off into the sunset. The head tracker, I've got the name of it in the description. It's called a DelanClip or something. DelanClip. It cost about 50 British pounds. It's super easy to set up. It works really well. It's not working right now because you kind of have to boot it up before you boot up Flight Simulator, and I forgot to, so I'm just flying without it at the moment. But it's a lot more immersive. Like you can look out the windows and stuff. It's quite cool. I love the way these lights look. I never really fly at night time. Yeah, you can make your own head tracker. I probably should have, seeing as I made the whole joystick as well. But it wasn't that expensive just to buy one, so I thought I'd do that instead. But yeah, no, I think there's files on Thingiverse so you can 3D print your own one, which is pretty cool. Oh, someone tried to make a VTOL based on my design. Yeah, so when I posted like the plans and the code and stuff for my old VTOL, I said like obviously if you're not experienced with flying radio control planes, then it's going to be very tricky because it does not hover anywhere near as stable as a drone. So if you haven't flown one before, it might feel like it doesn't fly, but it does if it's tuned exactly the same. Because my one, if I handed my one to someone who's flown drones, they would take off and be like, this does not fly. But what you have to, it's a really weird technique with the VTOL plane. You almost need to treat it like a short takeoff plane, where it's to be going very slowly forwards or have a slight headwind for elevator control. So like I would fly in a slight headwind or have it moving very slowly forward so it looks like it's hovering but it's not. Like technically the definition of a VTOL is that it can fly backwards at a certain speed as well and hover in position no matter of wind direction, but mine technically couldn't do that. I do have a VR headset, but unfortunately this isn't in VR just yet. But Aerofly Flight Simulator 2, Aerofly FS2 I think they call it, that works really nice in VR. That's a really good simulator for VR. Oh, cheers Cameron. Glad you like the videos. Oh, I just heard an airliner. We just got swiped by a Dreamliner. Or A320. Looks like a Dreamliner. Yeah, the head tracker is basically like it's like a substitution for a VR headset. Like it's trying to make the regular sim more immersive. So when you move your head, when you move your head, it looks to the sides, and up and down and stuff. But you still use your monitor, so it's high resolution. Not quite as immersive as a VR headset, but it's quite cool. Do you reckon I can keep up with this airliner? I wonder what speed the stall speed is on the airliner. Because this, so when I go like this, the speed is 110 knots. The airliner probably stalls at like 160. Yeah, I would recommend a VR headset for simulator. Yeah, get Aerofly FS2 and also VTOL VR. VTOL VR is very cool. It's not like mega impressive graphics. It's very basic graphics, but it's a very fun simulator doing like heat-seeking missiles and all sorts of crazy stuff. You fly these missions and yeah, VTOL VR is amazing. And also with VR, doing car racing, Project Cars 2 is really good fun. But then obviously you need to have a steering wheel and pedals and everything. But that's good fun as well. Collab with Intexa, yeah, I've spoken to him a few times. The problem is that I believe he's in Portugal, so it's not easy to do a collab in these days. But yeah, no, it would be cool to do one at some point. There goes a Dreamliner. Still fly FPV. I don't fly the racing drones anymore. I stopped doing that. I got a bit bored of it. I flew racing drones for like 4 years maybe, and then just got a bit bored of it. So yeah, regarding the flywheel trebuchet having some kind of CVT or like clutch system or something like that, it's really frustrating, right? So there's this physics software called Interactive Physics, and it hasn't been like, well, the date on the software is 2005, and I believe it hasn't been updated since like probably around that time. So it doesn't really exist anymore, but I managed to get a copy of it. It's called Interactive Physics. If you search it up, you could probably find the download as well. And I've emailed them 4 times asking if I can buy the software, and no one ever replies because it doesn't really exist anymore. But I also don't want to mention it in my videos, because if then, you know, a few 100,000 people goes to their website emailing them to ask for a copy or try to download it, it will be a nightmare. So I never actually show it in my videos, but I use it for calculating the dimensions of my trebuchets. And I made a few simulations of flywheel trebuchets that like had some kind of clutch mechanism, or you know, some kind of stopper that would suddenly just like engage the arm at some point. And it's really tricky to do because on my setup, the arm is part of the flywheel, so you can have a really heavy arm and it actually is a good thing. Like normally on a trebuchet you want the lightest arm possible, because it's the heavier the arm, the more energy it like takes from the stored counterweight. Whereas with the setup that I built, the heavier the arm the better, so you can make a super strong arm and it actually is a good thing, which means you don't put a limit on how fast you can like launch stuff, which is pretty useful. So if you had a flywheel spinning by itself that then engaged to the arm, if you had a flywheel that had the same inertia as the arm, which is quite easy because an arm's quite long, even if you make it super light, it has a lot of inertia. When you engage that clutch or whatever mechanism you have, CVT or whatever, it now halves the speed of the flywheel into the arm. As well as when it first engages, the flywheel is doing, say, 1000 RPM. As soon as you engage it, it wants to push the arm at 1000 RPM, but then as the energy is stolen from it, it gets slower and slower. And the slings have to be constantly accelerating for the projector to stay in the sling. Like if the sling just like instantly jolts and then slows down as it goes around, the ball will just like fly out. It won't work. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I did some simulations and it's not impossible, but it's very difficult if you were to do some kind of clutch or CVT mechanism, and it would just be more of like a gimmick thing for the video rather than something that actually works as well as the current setup does. Because I've actually been thinking about the project for probably the last 4 months, the flywheel trebuchet, about how to do it. So yeah, I've done quite a few physics simulations of different ideas, and the current idea was just the simplest and most reliable, so that's what I went with. What's going on? Oh, you 3D printed a head tracker, that's cool. I probably should have. I just bought one instead. What's the most dangerous thing that happened to you via projects? So, I've never mentioned this, and I don't know if any of my friends are watching because I literally haven't told anyone about this. But you know my swash plateless helicopter? It tried to kill me, right? So this was after the video went out. No, maybe it was before. I can't remember. I was working on it, I was tuning it, and it was plugged into my laptop. And for some weird reason, when I wrote the new PID values to the flight controller, the Arduino read no signal as a high value for a long time, which basically in PWM values means it goes full throttle. So I had the helicopter go full throttle on me, right next to me on the table, and the USB lead was plugged into the laptop which I was standing by, and it basically swung round on the USB lead, and yeah, it hit me in the arm, and yeah, I got some pretty fat scars on my arm. Had to go get loads of stitches put in. That's probably the biggest injury I've ever had from a project. Yeah, I don't know whether I don't have any pictures. It looked pretty bad when I did it. Let me I wonder if any of my friends are actually watching this. They're gonna like comment saying, "What the hell?" Because I literally didn't tell anyone about this. But this, look at this. You probably can't see it. There's me holding it. With like They're pretty deep. But yeah. That was pretty scary, because if it hadn't hit me here, it was swinging this direction, it probably would have hit me in the neck or something. That would have been bad. I don't fly 3D helis, but I still have my T-Rex 700. What do I want to be when I grow up? I'm kind of doing my dream job at the moment, to be honest. Being a YouTuber. Everyone's replying to the picture now. Yeah, I think there's a big delay in the stream. Yeah, I don't think I can put the pictures up on the screen. And this was like early COVID time, so I'm sitting getting my some plasters put in with a mask on. It's quite funny. It was pretty nasty. Yeah, I know. Don't plug it in with the blades on. I know. I know. The problem is that thing needs so much tuning that like. I had to plug it in every like couple of minutes, so to take the blades on and off would have just been a nightmare, and that's I know, it's irresponsible. What was funny though, as soon as I got back from the emergency thing, as soon as I got back, I took the blades off and then I plugged it into the computer and I tried to replicate exactly what happened, and it only happens like every 20 flashes of the flight controller or something like that. Like, it wasn't very often, but it did happen. And so I then programmed the Arduino thing, so it's like, because basically with PWM it sends a signal between, what is it, 125 milliseconds and 250 milliseconds, or is it microseconds? Microseconds. So between 125 microseconds and 250 microseconds is what 0 to full throttle means. But if it then holds, like, 5 seconds, then it automatically thinks full throttle. So I set it up to then say, if this is more than 250 microseconds, just assume it's 0. And then it never happened from then onwards. Yeah, what did the doctor say? I just said it was a drone accident. I know that's not good for like the image of, drones being dangerous, but the problem is if I told a random doctor, oh, I was building this prototype swash plateless 3D printed helicopter for a YouTube project and it tried to kill me, like, they would just be like, what are you on about? So now I'm pretty sure it is microseconds, because 250 milliseconds is a quarter of a second, which is way too slow. Seeing as the motor was updating like 10 times of rotation. Which is like the motor was updating 500 times a second, I believe. Which is, way faster than the milliseconds. What's the tuning software? I was using what's it called? I forgot the name of it. iNav. I was using iNav for the PID stuff. Yeah, but I told the doctors that. A combat robot? Maybe. I don't know. The combat robots look like a lot of money and a lot of broken parts. I think there's like a lot of destruction and a lot of cost in those things, but I'm more interested in the science of stuff, rather than just like a robot, if that makes sense. Like seeing a robot move and do something it's not that interesting to me unless it's got some kind of physics aspect to it, if that makes sense. Like the process of, you know, building a trebuchet, for example, is kind of boring to me, but what it does is cool because of the physics aspect. If it just like had a hammer on the end and hit another robot, I wouldn't be as interested in it, if that makes sense. I do enjoy the process more than the result in terms of the building, but it's more like, I said it briefly in the last stream, but it's kind of frustrating when someone says, you know, practical 3D printing. That kind of frustrates me a bit, because 3D printing is a manufacturing process. You know, it's like, if it's not practical, then why are you doing it? Like, what is the point in it? You never go, oh, I've got a CNC machine. Let's do something practical. It's like you know, you do it for a result. So like and it's the same with building something. I don't build something just for the sake of it. I build something for a result, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes much sense. Sorry, I'm reading 4 things at a time. Carbon fibre trebuchet probably won't, because carbon fibre is expensive, and there's no point having a lightweight trebuchet. Maybe the main arm, yeah. Spend a lot of time optimising kinetic energy weapons. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm sure designing a servo that can withstand combat is very difficult. Yeah, I think there are interesting aspects within certain things like that. Like I get loads of people, like a surprising amount of people asking, can I build a silent drone? So basically, like, spend a load of time doing fluid dynamics and designing propellers and motors that are just like dead silent, so you don't even hear the drone. And I think as an engineering standpoint, that's a really interesting thing, because you have to work, you know, you have to make the motor timing silent, as well as the propellers have to be perfectly optimized. But it's like, these drone manufacturers at the top level are doing that anyway, because a quiet drone flies for a long time, which means it's efficient, and these people spend forever optimizing their propellers and motors to be as efficient as possible. So it's not like people aren't doing it already. And also, it's not really that interesting to people if I were to make a video on it. It's like, wow, you made a quiet drone. Do you see what I mean? The result isn't that interesting. For the effort, for the amount of work that would need to go into making a dead silent drone, versus the outcome is a bit bad, or a bit uninteresting to a lot of people. Made a CNC hotwire foam cutter. That's cool. I've always wanted one of those. I've always wanted to design and build, or design and cut my own wings with a hotwire. That's pretty cool. What's the biggest thing I've worked on when I was an aerospace engineer? Well, I've never actually worked as an aerospace engineer. I came out of university and started Flight Simulator. Started doing YouTube stuff. That's all I've ever done, really. I used to work in like helicopter model shops. Used to help with support with building helicopters and stuff. When will I do another RC related video? I don't know. I don't have any RC related projects at the moment. By the way, if you're in the sim following me, I think we should end it soon. But for one last thing, if all of you guys press the letter Y on your keyboard, letter Y, I'm going to press it and then you'll probably hear me say this about 10 seconds later. So when you see me stop and press it, I'm going to press it now. And then if you hold F4, we can go back into the sunlight by raising up. Actually, you can't see my altitude because my my face is over the top. Let me see if I can move that. Hang on. See how fast we're going up. Yeah, so many projects aren't suitable for YouTube. It's a weird balance with YouTube. You've got to make something that's interesting. Something that's interesting to most people, but also still kind of nerdy. But not too nerdy and not too stupid, if that makes sense. It's a really hard balance. Have I ever been to model sport? That rings a bell. I can't say I know for sure. Let's see how fast we're going up. Yeah, the curvature of the Earth is programmed into Flight Simulator. It's all fake. Yeah, no, you are right about Michael Reeves and William Osman. They go pretty stupid, but they also have a very different audience to me. I know a lot of you probably watch William Osman as well, because he started out more as a maker. But like the majority of the audience, like the majority of Michael Reeves' audience is probably very, very different to my audience. What's my favourite plane? My favourite plane in this game is this, the Cub. Just because it flies really smooth. Let's see if we can turn around. Well, there's the moon. Fly to the moon. Hang on. Turn this way. There we go. How long do you reckon I can hold this for? In terms of the climbing and the altitude. We're already at 140,000 almost. In feet. Oh, you found me through William's vlogs. That's funny. Yeah, no, I do wonder how many people actually come from those vlog things. But no, that's interesting that you came from his vlogs. Yeah, it's an interesting crossover, that. Because I feel like a lot of people just watch it and don't really clock what's going on, or like who everyone is. Why are you here? You are here because this is the best stream in the world. Oh, you're here from 50k subs. Wow, that was a long time ago. When was 50k subs? That would have been like... that would have been 3 years ago nearly. 3 years ago, New Year's. No, January. Because I think I was at like 48,000 at New Year's, I remember. You can't slew fast enough. We're at 222,000 feet. What's a typical age group of my audience? 18 to 35s, I think, is like my typical age range. No, it might be more. I think there's two ranges. There's like 18 to 35 and then 35 to 50, like that. Like I'd say 18 to 50 probably, which is like a massive range. But it's not so much kids. Oh, you're 14. Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of kids from like school and stuff watching. Oh, that's cool. Oh, there's loads of younger people here. Yeah, no, on the... Oh, we've stopped climbing. 275,000 feet. Yeah, no, on the YouTube analytics, yeah, I think it's 18 upwards, really. I'm sure a lot of you probably have YouTube channels that say you're above a certain age anyway. That's the way it works, doesn't it? Because when you're under 13, I think it's not... You can't have one under age 13 or something? Right. Should we see how this plane flies from 275,000 feet? How do I go in the cockpit? There we go. This looks insane. Wow. I need to take a screenshot. If I can't even... Hang on. Is there actually air up? I can't even take a screenshot. Screenshot. There we go. There's still air up here. Still got control. Wait, so hang on. So 100 kilometers is what their just space is supposed to be, right? We're going out of control. We're leveling out. No, I need to take a screenshot. Take a screenshot whilst looking into the sun. There we go. Yeah. 100 kilometers is edge of space, right? Like, well, officially. And that's like 330,000 feet. So we're not quite at it. Not technically. Oh, there's another plane there. Wow. It's funny that the engine stops, but we still have airflow. There's obviously not enough oxygen. They're a lot lower than me. Right, what altitude am I at? Wow, this is going to take forever to drop down. It's so unrealistic. This is really realistic. What are you on about? What speed are we doing? 129. Don't know how accurate that is. Probably looks like a window wiper. That looks really cool. We're like in space. I take a really good screenshot, but I'm using my knees to control the joystick. Whilst my hands on the keyboard. There we go. That's a cool screenshot. Yeah, the engine's stalled for some reason. It won't. I can run the starter motor, but it won't start. I sent an air-powered drone to the command line. Actually, yeah, the air-powered drone. Maybe not. The engine would work better up at that altitude, but it only had about 14 psi. What music do I listen to? So I'm weird. I don't really listen to much music. I just listen to podcasts and stuff. I literally never really listen to music. Try pushing in the clutch. Keyboard command. I just use the regular like Windows print screen thing. Right, I think I'm going to end the stream in a minute. I know there's 56 of you guys here, but it's now 9 o'clock here, and as with the, not with the last stream, the previous stream, I haven't had my pizza yet, so I think it's time to go end the stream with a second sunset, and then go make a pizza. Oh, yeah, that did not that did not do. I thought I'd do a roll, and that is completely. So whilst we're falling to our death, I think it's time to end the stream. I don't have a stream schedule, but every week or so I occasionally do it. Just whenever I have a free Friday or Thursday evening. So yeah, thanks for joining the live stream, guys. Gonna spin into one more out of control spin, and then I will say goodbye. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next stream.